So you had, let's see, two Republican senators in there. You had two Republican members of the House. You had Mitt Romney. You had John Hoeven of North Dakota. Did they find areas of agreement with you and President Biden in that discussion today?
Yeah, I think there were there was a positive energy first, and we may not have come together on some of the particulars, but there was I think, a general optimism and a belief that, well, we were all there and we all felt that this was something that needed to happen. We need to invest in our infrastructure.
And did it help that all of you are former governors or former mayors?
Yeah, I think mayors and governors, we're more granular and we are on the ground. You know, when I first became mayor of Denver in 2003, we went out to all the suburban mayors. And, you know, there were 20 or 32 mayors at that time. We got all of them to unanimously support a tax increase to build 122 miles of light rail. And, you know, that kind of effort only happens with mayors and governors where you're all in one community and you can work together on something like that. But I think now what President Biden's doing is getting us to come together as a country to work on, you know, all manner. I mean, not just roads and bridges, but looking at workforce training, which is going to be crucially important, looking at, you know, childcare so that women can participate equally in the workforce.
What about the tax side of the Biden proposal, which is an increase in the corporate income tax, which was dramatically cut by the Trump administration? Was there any Republican reaction to that tax increase?
Well, there's certainly a level of coolness towards bringing that corporate tax back up. I think that personally, I think that President Biden, I mean, it came down 14 points. He's putting it back to about the middle. And historically, it's been, you know, 40% or above. But there was certainly a coolness by the Republicans towards that particular tax, or maybe to any tax. But there were other things we talked about, things that, you know, in many cases, roads and bridges you can have a pay for, where, you know, you have a toll going over a bridge, for instance. So that kind of payment was talked about. Public-private partnerships were talked about. Trying to find people that are dodging paying taxes and loopholes. How do we collect some of those revenues and make sure that they can pay for infrastructure?
And what about the very definition of infrastructure? Because this bill defines infrastructure more broadly than it has been defined in the past.
Well, I mean, why? Several of us said this today. We don't need to argue about the actual definition. Secretary Buttigieg was very eloquent on that. I personally have always said that it's not just physical; it's the organizational elements that allow us to have a growing economy and hopefully one that is more equitable. And that's a big part of what this country needs right now. Is we spent several generations building up our infrastructure, and now it's deteriorated so that we are no longer the leader in the world. We've got to rebuild it, but we don't have 3 generations to do it. We've got to do it now.
So did you leave that meeting, Senator, and this is always the question after this kind of meeting, with the feeling that it was a real meeting and that these Republicans were there to make real contributions and that there's something to follow up on? Are you going to follow up with Senator Romney, for example?
Yes, absolutely. And several of the Republicans and Senator Romney recognize that they need to come back with a plan and some suggestions so that we can get to work. And there was this sense that it's not just a few of us that will make the best progress by working together. And I think there's a large national appetite for Republicans and Democrats to work together on something. And if not infrastructure, I think if we can't do it on infrastructure, we're going to have a hard time finding a better place.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.